oxyprogesterone, and I'm on 30 milligrams Saturday. I'm on spironolactone, 300 milligrams, which is like the anti-testosterone.
That's to get rid of your hair.
Well, it doesn't really get rid of your hair.
You're a male.
Right.
What are you doing?
She's a man?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I'm not actually a male.
You're XY.
There you go. Well, no. I mean, I don't consider myself a male at all.
But you are XY, period. That's what you were born as, XY.
Right. Okay. I was born biologically as
XY.
male.
Okay, gotcha. And you're taking hormones. Are you supervised, or this sort of black market stuff?
No, this is totally supervised.
Okay.
Hold on, Drew. Explain what Premarin is, just for kicks, because I know what it is.
Is that like Primrose?
No, it's conjugated. It's an estrogen. It's a very potent estrogen.
Yeah, where's the name derived from?
It was derived from mares. It was from horse urine.
Pregnant mare's urine. Premarin.
That is attractive.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's best to abbreviate. Because someone goes in, we got 30 cc's of pregnant mare urine. But 30 cc's of Premarin. Oh, all right, put me down for that.
That's a good medicine. But, what's the plan, Tina? What are they doing?
Well, okay, I've got a lot of friends that are in the community that I talk to, and we all keep communicating.
Other transsexuals.
Exactly. And,
listen to that voice. It's just so startling.
They should call her Tom.
Well, it's working, though.
Yeah, that's what's startling, is how much, how a female...
Did your voice change because of the cocktails?
No. The vocal cords are thickened, and you can't unthicken them without an operation. I mean, it's complete, like, workout. Because I work on the phones 8 hours a day for a software company. So you really train yourself, because you don't want to hear people say, well, thank you, sir. So you really work on it.
All right, so Tina, what are you going to have the operation?
Eventually.
How long?
$10,000.
How much?
$10,000.
Put me down for 5.
I can go there and hold your hand.
That'd be good.
I'll hold something, but it's not going to be your hand. I want that penis.
Why would you do that?
For my collection. Mike, please. I've heard.
So, Tina, why are you calling? What's up?
Crazy cutlery.
A lot of my friends are starting at, like, a higher dosage. Like, for Premarin, they're starting at 5 milligrams.
Wow.
And they're a little bit older.
Yeah.
And just the way the doctors explained it was that, well, your liver will be destroyed and there's no long-term effects. You don't have any studies on long-term effects.
Of high doses of estrogen. That's right. You get hepatomas and all kinds of stuff.
But they're still starting at like 5, and I've been on them for a year, and I'm still at 1.25.
Do you want to go higher? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I don't think I'm having positive results.
Well, certainly 2.5, I suppose, would be in range. But listen, you got to talk to the people that are supervising you. I'm not going to begin recommending you to take more hormones. I mean, you're asking for trouble.
How do you look?
Hepatoma.
I don't think I'm really passable. My friends say I am, but you know your friends that jerk you around just make you feel better.
Yeah, tell you look like a chick just to be nice.
Exactly.
Say to me. I got those buddies too.
They tell you they didn't know you didn't have a penis. They'd go out with you, but that's not true.
Let me ask you something about what your plans are after the operation. I've dealt with several patients who did this operation in order to engage in lesbian relationships with women. Are you of that mind?
Yeah, completely.
Help me understand that. That blows my mind.
Well,
why not just have heterosexual relations with women?
Everybody says that.
Yeah, I understand. It's sort of a natural question, so help me understand.
Putting myself in a greater minority.
No, you're not, because every transsexual male I've dealt with in a clinical setting was going to become a lesbian.
I just do not feel compelled towards men at all sexually. It's just I can't go past the friendship. Kissing them doesn't seem right.
But you want a woman, but it can't. You have to be as a woman with
every
a woman.
time I've had sex with a woman, every time afterwards, I just threw up.
Well,
do you have any
you're going to have sex with a woman.
Are you going to have sex with a woman when you're a woman?
Eventually.
Right, but it was just the whole ejaculation, the visual, seeing my penis.
Inside.
Yeah,
what is the... Oh, this is very interesting. Do you have any sense of what the feelings are attached to that? Or it's just overwhelming horror, and that's it?
It's so overwhelming that I literally throw up.
I mean, theoretically, some people theorize that this is a fear... Well, some people theorize this is a fear of being sort of swallowed up by the woman, that the penis will be taken away. And yet, what an interesting response that is. So, well, then I'll do it myself. I'll just chop it off myself. And then I won't have to lose it to the woman.
Right.
And that's sort of...
But listen, I got a fear of getting my car stolen. Should I just go leave it in an alley? Or should I just put an alarm on it?
Well, but this is
you see, I'm putting an alarm on my penis.
But this is all part of that thing that people do of acting out the resurrection and death and castration and restoration. I mean, the people do this over and over again.
Hey, Tina?
Tina.
Tom?
Tony.
Let me ask you this. What the hell went on in your past? Something was done to you. What was it?
Well, I had a pretty messed up past.
Right.
I consider myself stable, but
No, you hold down a job and all that stuff.
Well, my mom.
Lord knows you're like a mad scientist with these cocktails. You must have a chemistry degree by now. But
Well, I grew
what
up without a
happened?
father,
Yeah.
and my mom was schizophrenic paranoia,
Now, okay. And what else?
and she died at 15 when I was 15.
And was there abuse to you sexually?
Not sexually.
But can you see how dealing with a mom that is psychotic would be just horrifying to little kids? Like, mom's going to eat me up. It's going to, who is that? Oh, it's changing, like the mom's sort of an amoeba coming at him. And so we're gonna stop that. We're gonna.
Okay, so here's the question I need to ask then, and it's age old, or at least it's a couple years old for as long as I've been on this show, which is Tina does not want to be a man. Hold on. Tina does not want to be a woman because
Look at all the pusses in this back row here. They're all the jaws on the.
She doesn't want to be
Pusses?
Tina doesn't want to be a woman because she sincerely wants to be a woman, but she was created by her absent father and her crazy mom and her environment.
Okay.
This environment made her.
Well, with some genetic predisposition, as you know, there has to be that.
There's got to be a sprinkling of that in there. But the point is my contention is that she was created via this horrible childhood she had to loathe her own penis, to loathe men, and to want to go to the extreme of chopping off her own genitalia. So wouldn't you say then that we should get at that problem emotionally and see if we couldn't work on that? Why do we all just stand back and let them run with it?
It depends how you define mental illness, and depends how you define unstable, and it depends whether you believe that you can change stuff like that. I mean, even people that believe that they can change it, I mean, those are the people that would say, yeah, you could change it in 5 days a week of analysis for about 12 years. Yeah, you might change it.
Right. Well, my compromise is you can cut the penis off, but don't throw it out.
That's wise.
Drew, what do they do with the penis when they get rid of it?
Probably burn it.
They burn it?
Yeah.
Right there? Is this some sort of, like, Santeria type?
And take a magnifying glass and
put an
It's
ant
a
on
long process.
No, what, do they just throw it into some sort of medical incinerator or something?
Stuff comes out of surgical suites that needs to be disposed of.
Is it
Sweets?
Yeah.
Sweets?
That's what they're called, surgical arenas.
Is it, no hot tub.
This is like a candy.
So they burn all that stuff?
I think it's mostly.
They don't throw it away? Someone's gallbladder.
Do they do
gets
them one
burnt?
at a time, or is there like a stack of them?
I don't know, honestly.
Could you imagine working the pitchfork on like a really busy day?
I'm working all night.
Oh, man.
Check out the load.
Nothing but penises all weekend. Jesus Christ.
Look at this one.
Phil, what's that in your back pocket? Oh, come on,
All
the
right.
wife's been bugging me. Please, don't say anything. I'll lose my job.
Nick,
Yeah,
what's up?
nothing. My nipples, like, they got this hard thing under the skin.
Behind the nipple?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're how old?
You're getting another nipple.
I'm 14.
All right, 14. It's real typical for males about your age to develop something called gynecomastia, which is an enlargement of the nipple, like you're growing a breast, quite literally. And it's due to the fact that the testosterone production hasn't yet outstripped the estrogen levels, and you produce things from your adrenal glands that get converted to estrogens. And this tends to go away by the time you're 15 to 17. The way it tends to get perpetuated is if you smoke a lot of pot. And I just saw a new way in my office the other day, androstenedione. These kids, these football players and things, are taking these adrenal hormones that are androgenic, and they're maintaining their gynecomastia from earlier in adolescence.
Wow.
So it's an issue. It shows that this is a non-physiologic event when you take those supplements.
So how does pot encourage that? How does
Raises estrogen levels, lowers testosterone levels further.
So if you see a 17-year-old male wearing a training bra, you either know he's on the juice or on the weed.
Yep.
Either way, you're hauling him in.
Yep.
Very good. Nick?
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of guys get this. One of my good friends did. I remember he was about 13 or 14. It'll go away.
So it's from the pot?
Oh, you smoke a lot of pot?
I did.
Well, it's that and your age together will create that. And the pot will perpetuate it if you keep smoking pot.
Is it like a sweat gland?
You're growing nipples, just like a woman. You're growing breasts.
Okay.
That's literally what a woman would do.
Have fun with them while you got them.
But you will normally, that will be outstripped by testosterone in short order if you don't keep smoking pot, which would suppress your testosterone levels.
I'd be charging $5 a cop. You know what I mean? Just pull the shirt up at lunch at school.
Have people feel it?
Well, mostly guys.
Yeah.
It's a handful of lesbians that might get in that line.
But you have to give me a joint.
Well, you really picked a good night to show up, Chris.
Odd. Yeah. Do you have any more breast things?
We may. You like the big breasts?
I only like nipple things. That's it for me.
Hey, do you like the...
Or ass.
What about the areola, the round part around the nipple?
What
Big,
about it?
small, medium? What do you like? Medium?
Medium.
Just whatever, it should fit the breast?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it has to be.
Adam, would you like to tell us your preference?
You know, like the Pottery Barn kind of breast. The Pottery Barn made breasts.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Something sensible that
like
smells
a
like
Gap
hickory.
breast. Yeah.
Hey, I like the bigger areola. And the reason I think I like that, though, is because it suggests a bigger breast. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean suggest? What is... I like the breast is very there to be suggested.
You're either in the presence of one or you're not.
Well, look at it this way, guys. It's like women wear pantsuits that have vertical stripes instead of horizontal stripes. The same amount of material. One of them looks bigger.
I see.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Good point.
Brilliant.
Well, that was solid.
Yeah, you really argued.
I really can defend myself when I'm talking about the breast. All right. Chris
Wait, what
Katana
size
here.
of the nipple again?
I like the rounder ones.
That
the
big?
bigger one.
That's a.
Well, I don't mind.
It's like an old tail or something.
Well, it's the best of Loveline. As per usual, this time we have to take ourselves a little 10-second station identification, and we'll be back with more of the best of Loveline in a scant 10 seconds.
Great.
This is Loveline on
Radio
station.
98 KUPD, Tempe, Phoenix.
It's the best of Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. You're you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Drew.
Yeah.
Let's trudge on. What do we got coming up next?
Now we have Everlast.
Everlast, did you have a solo before House of Pain?
Yeah, I did. Like when I was like 17, I was signed by Ice-T and his Rhyme Syndicate.
And then 3 albums with House of Pain?
Mm-hmm.
And now another solo.
Yes, sir.
Whitey Ford sings the blues. And we'll hear something from that coming up real soon. First things, actually 2 interesting things. Everlast had himself a heart attack recently.
Mm-hmm.
And had to have open heart surgery, Drew. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was born with what's called a bicuspid aortic valve.
What is that, Drew?
Your aortic valve has 3 leaflets, and in his case, it usually goes like this. In his case, he just has bicuspid, which causes it to narrow as you get older, and you get something called aortic stenosis.
Now, that 50 years ago, would that have killed you? 75.
50 years ago. Yeah, eventually. I mean,
It almost killed me 6 months ago, man.
yeah.
What happened?
You didn't know you had it?
Yeah, I did, but I mean, like they were said, my doctor always said, I'd have to watch myself when I got around 50, but I smoked like 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and just the muscle tore, and they replaced my heart valve with what's this St. Jude's. You probably know.
You on Coumadin now?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's hence the Band-Aid on my face because I got a little scratch and won't stop bleeding.
Oh, blood thinner.
It's like a metronome. It's great for music, man. It really
Oh,
is.
my
I
God.
joke about it, but it is. It's like a rhythm constantly.
Is that a synthetic valve?
Yeah.
That some company makes?
Yeah.
St. Jude?
I don't remember where the name came from, but yeah.
And what's it made out of?
It's metal and plastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I was informed that it was like sort of like ball bearings. That are like opening and closing as the blood's being pushed. It operates under the heart's function itself. It's not like any kind of pacemaker type deal. It's just as the blood is pushed out, it closes. That's the sound. Is the metal kind of.
And they just sew it in there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! And what's that? Are they going to have to replace that at some point?
No, not necessarily.
No,
it's
that's
either
good.
this or the pig parts, and I wasn't going for the pig parts, man.
No, because you like a BLT every once in a while, and you couldn't feel good about eating a BLT with a pig part.
I can't stand the whole idea.
How bizarre is that? If you were eating like some bacon and eventually it was working its way through its own valve.
Well, if you've had like heart surgery, I don't think eating bacon is the best idea anyway.
Did they have to split your ribs and everything?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Oh my God!
I got all that.
Oh man! But look at you. You seem fine.
I feel great, you know. I mean, the surgeon who did it was amazing. My regular doctor, who's a heart specialist, is amazing doctor. He's like a real old school kind of.
Is there anything you can't do? I mean, can you not play, snowboard or something?
Yeah, you can't do extreme sports.
Really?
Probably should.
I didn't know that.
Extreme, you shouldn't do that.
Why? Because it could be jostled or just put under too much pressure?
The put in?
Oh, yeah, for a while I'm not supposed to do any, like, chest lifting. February 17th is when it happened.
Now, I believe you were in the movie Judgment Night.
Uh-huh.
I worked on that set.
No.
I was one of the bad guys stand-ins.
I think you were my stand-in. Dude.
No, I stood in. There were 4 bad guys, right?
Uh-huh.
There's you, and there's Dennis Leary.
Peter Green, were you standing?
No, not Peter Green. The one other dude.
Michael. His name's Michael something.
The long hair.
Yeah.
The only guy wasn't wearing a jacket.
Right.
Remember how cold it was?
Yeah.
I had to stand there in a T-shirt.
So you were in Chicago then?
I didn't go to Chicago. When you guys came back here to do it, all the stuff in downtown L.A. and all the stuff in the sewer.
Yeah. In the sound set that was right near here somewhere.
Right. Right at Culver Studios. They built like an entire sewer indoors. And, here's the weird thing that people don't know about movies or TV, or maybe they do, but they will not shoot anything that's not built. Meaning, if they just have a 10-second shot in an elevator, and you think, so just go to some medical building and shoot the elevator door closing? No, they build the whole thing.
Why?
They have to light it. They have to get the camera the right way. I don't know what it is, but even shots where, like, guys were climbing out of the manhole, the whole thing had to be built. The street and the manhole and the whole... Remember that?
Yeah, they built a whole underground sewer thing that was amazing in one of these, like, airplane hangars.
Yeah, if anybody ever sees that movie, every single sewer shot, from guys sliding down things to guys running into big basins to the whole thing to opening the manhole and jumping in, all done indoors. And bizarre. But anyway, I was a stand-in for one of the bad guys, and we didn't get to fraternize with the celebrities too much. We were like the doofus loser stand-in guys. But I remember Everlast was in this movie, and so far you're the only guy from the cast I've spoken to, but I'm going to track them down like that movie Seven Little Indians and tell them all I stood in for them. All right, well, here's something. By the way, Everlast is going to be at the Whiskey tomorrow night. And we're going to be across the street. Sure, why don't we get a plug-in here?
All right, good.
All right, we're doing a book signing for Drew and my book tomorrow night. Book Soup?
7 o'clock.
And that's somewhere around the Whiskey, isn't it, on Sunset?
A couple blocks up.
Yeah, so swing by, get a book, and then go to the concert and then throw it at Eric.
And y'all got to come to the show, man.
Well, we got to come do this
Dr.
show.
Drew out of the show, you know what I'm saying, at the concert.
Yeah. Juice him up, and he goes, baby. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll hear something off Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. That's Everlast's latest CD. We'll take a call or two first, and then we'll get to that. Cynthia.
Hi.
Hey, you're 16. What's going on?
Well, it's been about a month, and I'm just recently, for the past month, I've been addicted to heroin. And both my parents don't know, and I don't know what to do.
How do you do it?
First I was snorting it, then I started shooting it, and I stopped shooting it.
So what are you doing now?
I'm snorting it.
Are you back snorting it?
Yeah.
What's the difference between snorting it and shooting it?
In terms of the disease?
No, I'm just asking Cynthia. In terms of the sensation.
First it was the rush, then it was getting a smaller amount to take your stick off.
It doesn't make much difference, Adam.
It doesn't, whether you put it in a syringe and put it in your arm, or whether you suck it up.
More euphoria in the needle. But
is it longer?
The high?
Yeah.
Not really.
Maybe short.
How long does the high last if you snort it?
Well, it depends. It depends if it's good or bad. Like, usually it lasts until you go to sleep.
Okay, but if you did it at 10 in the morning, then it could last for 17 hours or something?
No, it probably lasts till around maybe 8 at night.
So it's long. I mean, it's all day.
It's a long high.
And you just do one line.
No, I do about two 10-hour bags a day.
And you'll be high all day.
Yeah, pretty much.
And does anyone notice?
No, a few of my friends know. My mom asked me, but she doesn't know.
Hey, Drew, I don't want to sound real naive here, but, all my friends are all coke, pot, and booze, and I could tell when they were on all of those, or they could tell when I was on any of those. But no one really did heroin, and I don't know how to tell if someone's high on heroin or not.
You can't, just the pupillary responses is all you can tell.
That's it.
That's it? Otherwise?
Or if you catch them nodding.
Early on, if they're doing big doses early on, they will nod a little bit, but sometimes they just...
After that, they just get sort of functional with it? So what should Cynthia do?
Cynthia? This won't stop without treatment. It will not stop. And I've yet to deal with an addict, a snorting addict that doesn't go back to the needle, or at least revert to the needle in some way. And that's a life-threatening condition, okay? Your probability of living to see 30 is diminished.
What's so dangerous about the needle? Is it the needle?
It's the injection, right? Injecting things into your system.
Like
Stuff
you
bacteria, stuff gets caught in your lungs, infectious disease.
What about the thing with the air that you always hear about?
Yeah,
the air bubble.
Air embolism. I've never seen that.
That's pretty much just in the movies?
Yeah.
Where someone gets a little bubble of air.
A little bubble wouldn't do a damn thing.
Really?
Not a damn
You have to inject like a whole turkey baster full of air into you?
Basically, yes.
Oh, I'm going to sue everyone on TV. I grew up my whole life, watching Emergency, where they squirt this. They always squirt the syringe and kind of bleed it a little bit before they poke it up in the air and pop the cork off it, and then they squirt it a little before they put it in you. And it was always a big deal. If they don't get all the air out of that syringe, you'll die immediately. It'll go right to your heart. It'll explode.
No.
I thought the same thing.
Nope.
I mean, if I could say one thing, the first thing you brought up was like your parents and that they don't know, so I don't know. I mean, you need to not stop doing it, Death ain't something you should invite, trust me, I know about that. And if you could talk to your parents, I mean, I can't see anybody's parents really flipping out if they came to them with this kind of a problem. You know what I'm saying?
They would flip out, but they love you, and they will come to your aid, believe me.
That's what I mean. I mean, of course they're going to get upset, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's life right there. That's your life force is your family. And you brought them up so early that I just had to believe you want to tell them, and that's really what you were asking is how do I go about doing this?
Unfortunately, people that turn to heroin usually do so because they have a lot of negative feelings they're carrying around with them, and God knows what the parents have done to her in the past.
Well, especially by 16.
But be that as it may, she needs to tell her family. She needs to get help. It is not going to stop without intensive treatment. Heroin is the most severe form of addiction. It's a high relapse rate, very difficult to stay abstinent, requires a lot of work over a long period of time, and it is a deadly disease.
But isn't it easier if you get to it earlier? I mean, what if you get 10 years under your belt?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, isn't that just a way of life at that point?
Yeah, well, plus your brain actually changes in response to these drugs. You lose the capacity. You don't develop the normal coping strategies that someone would go through as they get older.
Right.
And to some extent, you lose that biological potential to some extent.
Jenna.
Yeah?
You're 23.
Yes.
You're on with Everlast.
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering if you could tell me, is anal sex harmful to yourself? Am I making sense?
Yeah. I mean, can you get injured doing it?
No, is it bad for you?
Well, how big is the guy?
Normal.
Okay.
That's important.
Well, let's do some math here, Drew. All right, see this one finger?
Yes.
You could see that going in your ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one?
All right.
On my hand?
No thanks, but
okay. Now, what if I just did this?
Yeah.
Made the fist.
Okay.
You wouldn't see that in your ass, would you?
No.
All right, now let me show you the watch. You picturing that? Get Cameron Swayze in here to do a testimonial on the Timex. And by the way, remember I was yelling at you about Cameron Swayze and Timex and strapping the watch to the front of that rubber raft? Saw that commercial that night on Nick at Night. Weird flashback thing. John Cameron Swayze for Timex. All right, so...
Can I tell you what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like if he ejaculates and stuff, afterwards, I get like an upset stomach. You know what I mean?
Well, that's more the result of you having been viscerally assaulted, shall we say, or violated.
Definitely.
And understand that a male ejaculating into you is the highest risk behavior for contracting any sexually transmitted disease.
So let me ask you this, Drew. they have medicines that are suppositories.
Yes.
Because
because it's so absorptive down there.
Yes,
you
and
absorb everything.
You can take alcohol
and
put it in your ass and get drunk, right?
Yes.
So if somebody put a tumbler of semen in your ass, wouldn't you absorb all the contents of that?
All that bacteria, whatever's in there, virus, everything.
But wouldn't it affect you? Like, here's what I'm asking.
No.
Let's just put it this way. If I put a hose in my ass,
yeah,
and Everlast dumped a bottle of scotch into the funnel, like we did a beer bong, behind beer bong. Oh, my God.
Beer bong behind.
You know the gays have tried this before, by the way. But they probably use like a blush wine, like a White Zinfandel or something. But they hold, I got a funnel, and Eric dumps an entire thing of scotch in this thing. My stomach, it'll get to my stomach, right? I mean, I'll absorb it.
Yeah, but that's alcohol, though. I mean, that's nothing really, it's like...
But I would throw up, right? It would make me sick?
If you drank enough. If you,
No.
If you ingested enough.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, we got an evening plan, by the way. You may be a little late for that whiskey day tomorrow.
Put it to my head, man.
So the point is if I vomit, it meant it got into my stomach or into my bloodstream and then got into my stomach?
Into your brain, and that made you nauseous.
All right, but if you were... Oh, okay. If you're allergic to semen, couldn't it make the same argument?
No.
All right, Jenna. Hey, I tried.
But be careful, please.
Okay, but so as long as he doesn't have a disease, you're fine, though.
Well, I mean, you can damage the area, you can tear, you can cause bleeding, again, infection.
Who's the guy?
My boyfriend. He
what?
I mean, generally, that's not what the area is meant for. So
he what, Jenna?
I was just going to say he likes both.
What do you like?
Well, I don't particularly like it, but...
Why don't do it. Stop doing it.
But if it makes him happy...
Jenna, please. You're in a relationship to make yourself happy.
Where were these girls when I was in high school?
Women, please stop that impulse to make men happy. It's the most retarded impulse you have. Trust your instincts and assert your needs.
It's more like I conquered it issue anyways. That's really all it is.
How many times I said that to
you? I'm saying? I mean, trust me.
Have you never done it?
It's his most primitive impulse.
Honestly, that's not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? I think the woman was given much finer parts to play with.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
your mic's out.
Oh, everyone's got an asshole. You know, my grandpa's got an asshole. You know what I'm saying? You go after the vagina and the breast. But Jenna,
and if that's all her boyfriend is really concerned with, he's got issues.
Yes,
it is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is definitely a power play because, as I've said on this show before, when you are in somebody's ass, the answer to every question you ask them is yes. You are driving. You know what I'm saying?
Am I bugging or are there like sound effects?
That was your heart valve.
I'm thinking I'm having a flashback here or something, man.
You know who's in charge when you're banging someone from behind. And if you're doing that to somebody, you're doing everything to somebody. It is a control thing.
But that somebody is completely objectified. They don't give an ass about that person.
Right.
And making that person happy is the last impulse you should follow.
Right. Drew will not rest until every woman says no. Paul?
Hello?
Hey, you're 14.
Hey,
Sorry about that last conversation, partner.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I like to say I love Loveline. I love the show.
Thanks.
I have a question about a week ago. I had a wet dream, and I looked at my underwear, and it looked like somebody, loogied in my underwear.
No, that was God.
That's what semen looks like.
But no, it was like green. It wasn't like what the usual color is.
Was it yellow or red?
No, it was green.
Green.
And it's usually like white, right?
Well, how much have you produced it on your own?
Yeah.
You have.
Ask him again.
Have you masturbated before?
Yeah.
You have.
Uh-huh.
How many times?
A couple.
Yeah. When did you start?
Last year.
Wow. Were you 13?
Yeah.
Bastard. I didn't start till I was 16.
Why not?
I was stupid. We were poor.
Eric. Oh, wait a minute.
We were so poor I couldn't whack off. We couldn't afford porn or towelettes.
Eric was startled and he just recoiled. Oh, my God.
I know. 16. I swear to God, I hope I live an extra 3 years, and I spend that entire time masturbating.
Well, if you live 3 years, why should those years be different than any other ones?
Very good point, Drew. All right, so, Drew, do you think this is some kind of infection or something?
If it continues, Paul, obviously you get it looked into. But a single episode, I can't say that it's anything with absent any other symptoms.
Did you eat a lot of mint chocolate chip ice cream?
No, and sometimes even blood will mix in there to make it look kind of an orangey color. And bleeding once in a while is actually not that abnormal. Not abnormal at all in some cases, but should be looked into always.
All right, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hear something off of Everlast's new CD. The CD is called Whitey Ford Sings the Blues, and this one is called What It's Like. Whitey Ford Sings the Blues. Everlast is here. You can find him and his guitar, and who else?
My whole band. We got a whole live band, 6 members, lap steel guitar, stand-up bass, DJ, drummer, keyboards. The White Folks, that's the name of the band.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, someone's going to sue you for that name there.
You have file.
What's that?
That's why I had it down, so it wouldn't come up.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's too low when it's down. Now, don't lean back.
Thank God we have a couple days off these days. But, so we're not with each other continuously.
All right, just be quiet. Cypress Hill is here tonight.
Yes,
Be real,
yes,
Bobo.
Yes.
And Gloss are all here. Gloss is not from... Gloss, what do you do?
What do you do?
Work in movie production.
Oh, you just hanging with Cypress Hill.
Oh, that's right. You know how we do it.
All right. Well, you probably know more about the band than they do anyway.
But of course.
Drew, you ready to go? Mm-hmm. Sarah.
Yes.
You're 18.
Yes.
What's going on?
I'm engaged to a guy who's in the military, so right now he's kind of far away.
Where is he?
In San Diego.
And where are you?
I'm in Middle California. I really don't want to give my whereabouts because I think his sister might be listening.
How do you guys know each other?
Huh?
How do you guys know each other?
We met at a billiards.
And why does his family hate you?
I don't know.
You said there was something religious and ethnic and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I am the first Hispanic that he's brought home, but I'm not full Hispanic.
What is he?
He's pure white.
Whatever that is.
Huh?
Whatever that is.
Yeah, mostly Irish.
Okay.
The thing is, it's funny as I have Irish in me too.
All right.
I'm behind 57. We'll just put it that way.
All right.
Religious beliefs is I'm in between Catholic and Christian, and they they only believe in the First Testament.
That makes them what?
I don't know. They're not Jewish or Mormon. I know that.
Is the First Testament the Old Testament? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the Old Testament.
Yeah, but between Catholic and Christian, I mean, that's not much, is it?
I don't know.
There.
But it's another thing is they're very controlling over him.
You both take Christmas off, right?
He doesn't believe in Christmas.
How long have you guys known each other?
Since February.
And why the rush to marriage?
Because, well, I'm not really in the rush anymore.
Good.
Why doesn't he believe in Christmas? He doesn't believe in Santa?
He's Jewish.
Maybe he's a cheap
He says it's paganistic.
It's paganistic.
Yes, and I said, no, it's commercial.
Jehovah's Witnesses?
He's in the military, though, right?
A reason he
What
went
about
in.
killing foreigners?
He sounds screwed up.
Maybe maybe his parents are religious fanatics.
No. No, very not.
Not yours, his.
No.
No?
No.
All right,
Because
so...
he's just sitting there quoting the Bible, and
Who's quoting the Bible?
I was.
You were?
Yes.
Why were you?
Because she was sitting there saying stuff, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, Jesus Christ did not believe in that," or, this was in Genesis.
Oh, there's nothing worse than those hypothetical arguments over Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Where they go, Jesus Christ said an eye for an eye. Jesus said turn the other cheek. Jesus, when he was talking to a ham, and it's like, would you everyone just shut up for a second? Christ is spinning around on his cross here in this kind of talk. I was going to say in his grave, but I guess he's not really in his grave. Wherever Christ is, he's spinning around listening to all you idiots argue over him. Could you imagine listening to people? What if it was Drew instead of Christ? Drew says to turn the other cheek.
That is my hell. If I go to hell, that's what's going to happen. People are going to misquote me every turn.
Drew said that a little Coke was good for you.
I was in New York Times Magazine today, and I was quoted as saying something that I didn't say, of course. I'm in pain. My breasts hurt. I said that. They could have quoted that, but that's not what It showed up in the New York Times.
All right, so Sarah, the guy's in the military. His parents are a little bit suspect. He's thumping the Bible a little too hard. You're 18. It just doesn't sound like a match made in heaven. Pardon the pun.
Don't tell me that.
You guys may want to give it a little while before you think about tying the knot.
And I am, but it's just his family has got so much control, and that's where I'm having. That's where there's a problem.
Control over who?
How old is this guy?
They have control over him.
How old
He's
is
Over
23.
him? How old is he?
23.
And how old are you?
I'm 18.
Oh.
Are you even 18?
Me, yes. I'm full-fledged 18.
All right. Card carrying 18.
Full-fledged.
Yes.
You think maybe it's because they think you're too young for him or something?
No, it's because they didn't pick me out for him.
Aha.
All right, get out. This is a mess. You should be married at 18. It's
The family's a mess. He's a mess. Why don't you get out of there and
You don't
just
wanna
find
be a
yourself a
mess.
nice
You
guy?
got too much ahead of you. You don't
I mean,
even know it.
and why, by the way, you know, we talk to people all night long. They go, he beats me. He criticizes me. He put his foot in my cat's ass the other day. Oh, why don't you dump him? I can't. I love him. How do people get to love people that are such a-holes?
That's what I want to know.
You know what's funny is when they do move on to the other guy, let's say, you know, they meet somebody else somewhere down the line, they treat the other guy real funny, and they don't get used to another guy like giving them love and everything. They're used to that abusive.
That's right. And they seek
Holding
that out.
on to the last one.
That's what their dads did to them, and then they go out and seek that out in the first place. And I was reading something this weekend. We're trying to figure out why people get stuck in these acting out mechanisms where they have to find the abusive guys.
Right.
And this theory was suggesting that this is all a way of trying to control death and resurrection. That there's a very primitive instinct that's way beyond pleasure and pain. It's about actually trying to control feelings of total annihilation.
What's the resurrection part?
Having sex with the person.
You sure didn't say death and his erection?
It's the same idea. Well, his erection.
Maybe the guy's name was Red.
His erection is what creates the resurrection. Is having that and controlling that, and then of course the abuse comes in again. And
so it makes you feel like it's normal. That's
well,
what it is.
what Drew's referring to is we talk to people night after night. Their dad beat the crap out of them their whole life, and then they marry a guy who beats the crap out of them. Why do they?
They just follow that pattern, exactly.
Yeah, but why? What good is that? You know what I mean? You know firsthand what it's like.
I'll tell you what. I heard this one time from somebody. They said their father was talking to him, and they always had a rocky relationship. And the father finally the son told the father, he says, well, you know, I'm your youngest son. Why did you always treat me, you know, worse than all the others? I never did anything. And he says, well, you know, I come from a tough love background. Nobody ever showed me love, and this is how I was.
By the way, tough love is not showing love.
No, exactly. But he was saying this is the way he learned, so he didn't really know what real love was.
Right, isn't that how to do it? That's right.
Yeah, he couldn't express it correctly.
We want to have all the parents incarcerated.
Yeah,
they create these people.
I'm actually just going to start a big island for him. Who am I going to?
What's it going to be called?
Well,
we'll touch on. You had somebody that you were going to pick.
I was going to take all the kids and bring them on to Big Island and have Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad be like their parents.
Yeah, they'll straighten
You said
them
you
out,
want to touch
right?
on Ali's parents, maybe?
No.
Like
Somebody John Tesh. John Tesh was going to be the dad of the other kids.
Oh, you're trying to hurt him, Adam. You're really trying to hurt him.
You ain't nothing nice.
All right, George, did you pick a call? What are you thinking about over there? All right, punched it?
What are you thinking about?
All right. Drew, you know my history.
I do.
Phil.
Yeah.
You're 23.
Yeah, right on, dude. A buddy of mine told me that you can get Alzheimer's smoked out of aluminum cans, like out of a beer can or something like that. And I've been doing since about 11 years, 12 years old. I was wondering if that's any, fact or not.
Yeah, what about people think that, or they had linked Alzheimer's disease with contact with aluminum products?
That's right. And so that's where this theory came from. I don't really believe that there's any reality to this.
Well, people have been drinking out of aluminum cans and eating out of aluminum foil for 40 years.
People with end-stage kidney disease get fantastically elevated blood levels of aluminum, and they don't get Alzheimer's any quicker than anybody else. However...
But I just threw smoking out of the can,
No. However, there are other brain-damaging issues that you may be coming in contact with. So if you were to develop some brain dysfunction, it would not be from the aluminum can.
Hey, what about, Phil?
It would be from the drugs you're smoking.
What kind of cans do you go with usually?
Well, usually I always have glass, but glass breaks. But I've always had like High Life, beer cans, stuff like that.
So you take like a Miller can, you put a dent in it, right?
Yeah, good Budweiser.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, but
can I interject right
Yeah.
Go to a head shop and buy a pipe, for crying out loud.
Oh, dude, I've had plenty of glass. It's just, you can't smoke around hillbillies. They break them.
And let me point something else out here. Just how amazing the human mind is. The call is, can I get Alzheimer's from aluminum in the can? No, absolutely not. Oh, good.
Right.
But you certainly might get it from the damaging effects of the chemicals. Oh, all right. Yeah, so anyway, how do I smoke this stuff? I mean, it's completely, as long as I'm not getting it from the aluminum, I don't care. As long as if I'm going to get damage from the drugs, it's worth it.
That is
insane.
true.
Well, the great thing about guys who smoke a lot of weed is they have a high tolerance for repetition. Like, for instance, my buddy had a pipe that was round, and it wouldn't sit up, meaning you'd have to lean it against something. If it was like a bicycle with no kickstand, it would just fall over because it was a round tube. So every time we smoked out of it, he had to lean it against something. And every time I saw the guy, the thing was falling over, and whatever pot was in it was on fire and on the carpet or wherever it had fallen off to. The guy would never break down and get a pipe. And the bongs, I don't know why they do this with bongs, but bongs are always about inch and a half, 2 inches wide, and they're about 40 stories high, and they got a base on them the size of a coaster. And they hold 40 gallons now, and they go toppling over every time. Someone's got to make a bong with like a beanbag chair on the base of it.
Something like that.
That
you could never, like a Weeble, that you could never, ever tip over.
They exist.
Oh, they do?
I've seen them. They're getting smart now.
I got to get by the head shop.
Yeah.
Graphics.
You know what worries me, Drew? On these cans, you're smoking the paint or whatever kind of chemical they use to put the insignia or the coloring on the side of the can.
I never liked that method.
I don't know.
Never.
I mean, we certainly see lots of problems with people smoking certain chemicals, but we don't tend to see any long-term effects of that.
Yeah, but that
doesn't mean it
couldn't
doesn't
have been around. People couldn't have been doing this for more than 15 years.
That's the point.
We don't know what the hell that's going to happen 20 years from now.
Absolutely.
It's the best of Loveline. I'm Adam Carolla. That's Dr. Drew. You're you. All right, Drew.
Yeah.
Let's trudge on. What do we got coming up next?
Coming up next is the Goo Goo Dolls.
This is Jennifer's first tour with us. So she's looking forward to being
Drew and I go out and do this college lecture thing once in a while, and if we do more than 2 or 3 in a row, we
I'll take a month off.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really appreciated it until we went out on the road for just 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we're packed into a van or anything. We're taking planes and getting a limo and stay at a decent hotel and all that stuff.
It still takes it out of you.
Still takes it out of you.
Takes it out of you, you know?
I couldn't imagine, and a lot of the bands we have in here, I mean, 2 years straight.
Yeah, that's what we did last time. 2 years straight. 2 years straight. But you know what? You get used to it. You get like a cockroach. You know? It's like you go out and you tour a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and you just sort of like build up an immunity to it.
But do you think if you were making the schedule, wouldn't you spread it out a little more?
Yeah, 1 show a week.
Right.
Yeah, 1 show a week at my house.
Right.
Everybody comes to
We
me.
would just do pay-per-view, and we would sing the tracks.
Right. And, after 9, because Seinfeld's on.
Yeah.
And then, you'll play for 15 minutes, they take a 4-hour break.
Right. You know what? It was good, though. It was good that we had the tour lot, because it made me realize that you have to take better care of yourself. Because like all that stuff about, shooting the heroin and drinking the Jack Daniels all night, I think most of that's mythology, though, because
I don't know how people, and Lord knows many a band and many a comic and many a person who's toured has done this, how you can just get loaded every night and get high every day. I mean, how you can grind on your body that way and keep the grind up of the tour. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
Some people are just blessed with a healthy constitution.
Right.
And some people are blessed with a healthy publicist. as well.
Yeah, to help them out.
Who made Trump up?
Right.
Who made Trump up to 2-3 times?
I have a medical question. I have a medical question for you. We were just in Australia. I got these. There were effervescent vitamins called Baracus, and for some reason they won't sell them here. But it's like a big heap of B vitamins.
I think you can get them with prescription here.
Yeah? But they were in my hotel room. They're hangover medicine they use them.
Yeah, well,
they were in the mini bar.
Well,
yeah, they were in the mini bar.
Yeah, theoretically, you're not acutely depleted in B vitamins if you've been drinking a lot. B vitamins get depleted, but it takes a while.
But it's like speed, though. It felt like I got a rush from it when I took it.
And I don't know what's
just a pill. I mean, just a couple of pills.
It was like a big cherry, like Alka-Seltzer, and you put it in the thing, and and then you drink it down, and then
it gives you this little boost, and you jump around for 20
minutes. Do you think it was B vitamin and caffeine or something like that?
Yeah. Right, there's something in there.
But it was made by a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, there's something like that is available here, but it's B vitamin. I don't know nothing else.
Wasn't there a thing where people were snorting B vitamins or injecting it or something like that a few years ago, and that was all the rage?
It sounds vaguely
Or am I
familiar.
thinking of like bee pollen?
Bee pollen people took a lot.
Bee pollen, people were taking, was it bee pollen? They say it was curing, they were stinging themselves with bees, and they were saying it was curing their cancer.
Right.
And
All kinds of weird. Because I've seen, in the course of I've been in practice, I've been training plus practice 15 years, and I've seen so many bizarre things come and go, and each one is the cure, the thing, the answer. When are people going to grow up? I don't understand it.
Yeah, and learn that NyQuil's really the only thing that works.
The only cure-all remedy to everything.
It's true. People, you get all this, this holistic crap, and take this and rub the magnet there, but you know what? A couple shots of NyQuil, that does it.
The one time I took NyQuil, I was wired all night.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, when you take too much, right? I'm a pro with
I only took it once. I stayed upstairs at the ceiling all night, so I never took it.
Isn't there a reaction where sometimes people go 180 degrees?
Yes.
Well, that happened to me on NyQuil. I stay away from that stuff.
These antihistamines and things especially.
It's sort of like the way they handle kids with attention deficit disorders. They give them speed.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
What's the logic
to me.
behind that, though? Why does that work?
Nobody knows. They test the theories, but it works.
Yeah, it's like putting out an oil well fire by blowing it up.
Did you see that movie? The Hellfighters with John Wayne.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
One of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah, John Wayne played Red Adair, I think. The famous Texas oil well.
Yeah.
Fire.
And they were right in the middle of a battle zone, and the planes came in and blew up the wells, and they had to blow them up.
Oh, it's awesome. Hellfighters.
Amazing movie.
It must have been like early 70s, late 60s, something like that. John?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Good. You're 17. You're on the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Goo Goo Dolls how they got that gig with that movie City Angels. And what's the name of the song, too? I forgot it, man, but it's been in my head for like 2 weeks straight now.
Oh, cool. That's, well, the subliminal messages are working. That stuff does work. I don't, the guy that made the movie called my manager and asked if he heard the song Name, which was another ballad that got big. And he heard it, and he said, this guy writes these sappy songs like this, and I'm making this movie, so do you think maybe he could write one for it?
So the song didn't exist before. It was commissioned, basically.
Yeah, they said, write a song for this movie.
Yeah,
So
you guys put Titanic to shame, man. That one song, it was great.
And how much...
I don't got the Celine Dion clout, though, I can't afford 12 producers.
How much do you know about the movie going into writing the song?
Well, I knew it was a remake of Wings of Desire, so I was a little bit iffy about doing it because that was a really great movie. But then they flew me out here and they took me to a little screening room and showed me the movie without the music in it, and I kind of watched the story and then just grabbed onto it. And
so the movie was complete.
Oh yeah, it was mostly complete, I think. And then and I went back to my hotel and wrote the song.
Wouldn't it be cool if you guys could do the soundtrack for Hellfighters 2?
Hellfighters 2. The Persian Gulf.
Yes.
It'd be like, yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme is right there. Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would rock.
Out of your first relationship, and they drag on, and people go at each other, and that's what this one smells like.
Yeah, I think so.
From here. Christine.
Yes.
You're 23.
Yeah.
What's going on?
This question's for Drew.
Yeah.
Sometimes after I eat, I make myself throw up.
Okay.
And I was just wondering what kind of effects it has on the body.
Well, you know, Adam gets mad at me when I sort of jump to the most egregious circumstance, but certainly this is a fatal condition.
For the you die one.
Yeah, you can die.
That's Drew. What's your other answer? I hate. What's the only form of safe sex, or what is that?
Right, abstinence.
Yeah, that's such a retarded. What's the safest way to fly, Drew?
Stay on the ground.
That's right. Thank you. I got to be in Chicago this weekend, you jackass. So this is no answer.
But, I mean, I can read you a list of all the deleterious consequences of bulimia, which is what you have. It's about a 20% fatality rate with bulimia, okay?
I don't like binge. I don't buy Twinkies.
You don't have to just binge, okay? Let me read you some of the things. Low white count, anemia, low platelet count, kidney failure, liver function test elevated, low magnesium, low phosphorus, low calcium, alkalosis, low potassium, thyroid abnormalities of your adrenal and your ovary function, demineralization of your bone, arrhythmias, death. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
But isn't that a small price to pay to look good in a skirt, Drew?
Teeth rot out.
Yeah, I think it's more low self-esteem myself.
Well, certainly eating disorders always have an element of esteem issues in them, but it is a separate disorder. I mean, not everyone with low self-esteem manifests an eating disorder. And it's something that has to be treated, Christine. It's like alcoholism. It's a chronic condition, and it can be put into remission, but it is extremely dangerous.
I mean, because I'm like having stomach aches now, and I don't know if it's...
Christine, you need to talk to somebody about it. I mean, it's...
How long have you been doing it?
On and off for the past year.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, why... do people get started at 22?
It's late, but they can, sure. I bet she's had eating issues.
Yeah, I've had it, you know, I started, like, throwing up in 94, but I just, now, been more pronounced.
Yeah. Is something stressing you out right now?
I have a stressful job.
Yeah. Sort of a way, I really began to think about eating disorders as a way people feel empowered. It's certainly not obvious to you now. I'm sure you feel out of control, but it's a way when you really feel threatened to try to empower yourself in a way that's very dysfunctional and extremely compulsive. And it has to be stopped because you can die. 20%. Well, 1 out of 5 can die of this disorder when you have it.
You mean it's a way of taking control of yourself?
Well, that's what people always have told me when I've talked to psychiatrists about this, that it's it's a control issue. I think it's more of an empowerment. It's about taking on a punitive or depriving role and feeling empowered in that way.
But it's so amazing how much food stands for other than just calories and nutrition. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like eat when you're depressed, eat when you celebrate.
It goes back to early stages of development when our oral gratification, oral needs are all that we had.
I know.
Some of us develop a little beyond that, and we get some fixations along the way, Adam.
Hey, listen, my stupid family made the mistake of trying to feed me, too much granola and wheat germ for too long when I was young, and then I flipped out and went the other way.
Did you say you're like
Count Chocula?
Hooked on In-N-Out burgers?
Yeah, I would go...
That's health food for him.
Really?
Oh, shut up, Trey. Yeah, I would just take my hand right into a lard bucket and just scoop it into my mouth while I'm feeding like an Abba Zaba rectally of me, because I like to have both orifices working at the same time. No, here's what happens. My mom was like whole wheat everything, tofu everything, and stuff tastes like crap when you're 11, 12 years old. And I would go over to my neighbor's house and babysit, and I would go nuts in the pantry. I mean, first thing I'd do is go right for the pantry, and I'd open pie filling.
Wow.
Pie filling, here's what pie filling is. If it's a 16-ounce can, there's 18 ounces worth of sugar.
Oh, yes.
In there, you just I don't know how it works out mathematically, but there's more volume of sugar than the weight of the they must pressurize it. They take sugar, they make it into a gas, and they stuff it into the tank somehow. But it's pie filling with like mini marshmallows and Count Chocula and like whipped cream, and just pile on some Toll House nuggets, and I just go insane. And it was a backlash from too much granola and too much of that goddamn Yul Gibbons in the 70s with you can eat parts of a pine cone and that whole mess. Jacob, you're 16?
There you are. Yeah. What's up?
You guys heard of pheromones, right?
Yep.
Have you ever heard of making that stuff? As like a liquid, like cologne type thing?
Yeah, people have been researching that sort of stuff for quite some time.
Oh.
This is basically, Drew, explain pheromones.
Pheromones are chemicals that are given off in very tiny quantities that are thought to elicit biological reactions in other people, one of them perhaps being sexual arousal or attraction, perhaps. But this is Jacob's way of asking about a Spanish fly. This is what we used when we were 15, that would be our question.
Right. Could you imagine if you had a vial of this? And believe me, here's the misconception about all this junk. It's you're going to slap a little of this stuff off on yourself, and then you're going to break into Cindy Crawford's house, and as she's picking up the phone to call the cops, she's going to slam it down and then jump on you. That ain't it. Maybe if you were close with someone, it could nudge you over the top, but you'd have to be real damn close.
Yeah. Don't think that way, Jacob. That's not going to be a fruitful source of gratification for you.
Does that stuff work, though? Pheromone stuff?
There's probably something to it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think it works pretty good.
It works in animals.
In the animal kingdom.
And we have stuff on lower brain function that certainly we share with animals, and that would do something to us, but whether or not it would really create sustainable or reproducible behavior is not yet proven.
I would say try malt liquor.
Yeah. Yeah. And
get a 40. That'll do it.
That's better, yeah. That is a much better icebreaker.
Jacob 16.
All right.
Oh.
All right, well, forget the malt liquor. You just go for the Pabst Tall Boys.
When you're 21, go.
Right. In about 5 years, you can try something called malt liquor. All right, Jacob?
All right, cool.
All right. Or move to France and start getting loaded. Get a jump on the alcoholism. Oh, man. Did you guys, when you guys are from Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
Did you, and was it 21 when you were growing up? Because it used to vary from state to state, but I don't know when it became uniform 21, but I think it is now.
84.
It was 18.
It was.
The year I turned 18, they changed it to 19. And then they changed it to 21 when I turned 19, so.
But when you were, that sucks.
I know, it was like every time.
When you were like 15, 16 years old, did you have a liquor store that you knew you could buy beer at, or did you have someone's older brother?
Yeah.
Or did you do that thing where you go to the liquor store and you just wait until some guy looks cool? Like some guy, hey, this dude's driving El Camino.
He'll buy us beer.
Yeah. He's got Rainbow cranking. Okay, I'm going to talk to this dude. Hey, man. And you give him that, you remember what it was like to be 15 speech?
Yeah.
And the guy's got like some boots and a handlebar mustache, and he's going in to buy something too. Right. Oh, great. So you give the guy $8, and he comes back with a 5-pack. And it's like, what are you going to do? Jump up and punch him, or start arguing with him, or call the cops or something?
Did you do that here? Did you do that?
Oh yeah. The thing that we did, and I don't think you can do any of this, was find somebody to go in and buy it for you, which I don't know if that goes on so much anymore. I never had anyone ask me.
I think because people would be arrested. I mean, the risks are far higher than they were then.
Right. 2, there was just a liquor store, usually with some guy from like Albania behind the counter who just really couldn't. He couldn't judge the Anglo age. He had no barometer for that at all. So you'd go in there at like 14 and a half, and he thought you told him you're 27, and it was like, all right. And there was always restaurants, always liquor stores, and you knew there were a couple of places.
Right.
And you always took the biggest kid and sent him in to go get it. Tom.
Yeah, hi, Adam.
Hey, 27.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm seeing a stripper, and I kind of like want to save her, from the bar where she strips at.
Okay, hold on. Just say no more.
Stop.
Really?
Right? I mean, you've talked to many of our callers who's wanted this. There's 2 or 3 issues here. One is, obviously, this woman's got some issues, and he needs to save her.
Right.
So his whole saving need is one issue. And the other is the phenomenon that men go through when they decide to date somebody in that kind of a lifestyle. That they're okay with it, and then, no, not anymore, which is what you speak to normally.
And bills after bills, just to stay with her, to keep away from the grease balls,
Well, are you going out with her now?
Yeah, it's been like 6 months we've been together.
And it's exclusive? You're just going out with her, she's just going out with you?
Right.
And how long did you stalk her at the bar before you got your first date?
Oh, just a couple days.
Really? Jeez, I must have dropped like $17,000 over at the Star Garden in North Hollywood before I got
This is Southern California here.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Okay.
I was at the Star Garden in North Hollywood. I lived with a stripper about, oh, Jesus, how many years ago was it, Drew? Like 40 years?
But check this out.
I don't know how long.
Grad.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I got
from,
the same
Ohio?
rant.
Tom,
yeah,
please.
I know.
Stop.
She just earns the money. She's working her way through
college.
What makes you think that she wants to be saved?
Pardon, Diane?
What makes you think that she wants to be saved?
Because she's better than that place. That's all.
Yeah, this is the point, Tom, and what we're sort of zeroing in on here is, first of all, it's expansive of you to think that she needs to be saved, and it's demeaning to her to think that she needs a savior.
You're not Hercules.
Right. And
I want to be her Hercules, though. You know.
Oh man, Tom,
are you for real?
You sound so naive about this.
Is that or
gay?
No.
What? BS?
Yeah.
No, I love all women.
There's a BS factor here sometimes.
I'd pick another club.
What's the name of the club?
Main for anybody that knows.
He got it in there. All right. Does she want to quit?
No, the money's pretty good, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen,
easy.
you can't compete. They make cash. They make $400 or $500 a night. They spend
I
all
don't make
day
$1 million a year, so that's hard. You know?
All right. You're screwed. Listen, she will. Okay.
Well, should we explore what's up with him? Why he needs to be a savior?
I think we should.
Okay. Hey, listen, it's a natural impulse. You go to the titty bar, you sit there, you become very enamored with these women, then you begin dating them, and then you become protective over them, and then you don't want other guys looking at them. And
this doesn't have that feel, though, does it? It's not his other guys. It's more about, hey,
This is a guy that was like totally like weak in high school. Like you finally got the girl, and now you want the girl for yourself. Is basically what it comes down to. You don't want anybody else to see
I suspect there's
her.
even more than that too.
He's just it's
Tom
an ownership thing.
Tom?
It's not. It's just like these
Did
guys.
you have an addict, alcoholic parent?
Those places
Hey,
exploit women.
Hang on, Tom.
But you went to that place, so were you exploiting her by going there? Or were you contributing to that? So this problem is really with yourself. I mean, you're just as mad at yourself for going there as you're mad for her for working there.
Well, at least I met her there. I mean, that's the best thing that came out of it.
He's saving her.
You know what? She doesn't want to be saved, dude. And it comes back down to the whole thing. Like you're trying to play God.
Is this Diane?
No, you're thinking of a TV show. Say your name, please, for the
Tom.
radio listen. Not you. But,
I'm just like here to give you some free advice, okay?
all right, but say your name anyway.
Jennifer.
Are you you're someone's girlfriend, right?
I know. I play the violin.
She plays the violin in the band.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey.
No.
Don't be dissing my talents.
Well, it's only because you're so damn good looking. I didn't know you were the violin player. You weren't here last time, was she?
They just added the string section.
Just listen.
What?
Man. Just keep your ears open.
What are you talking about?
Somebody introduced her as such. But listen, hey,
Who
Tom.
introduced her?
I don't know. She wasn't introduced.
I'm a professional party crasher.
All right, shut up, Drew. Tom, Drew, you're jackass because she was not introduced, and you're the one who bought into it.
All right, the deal is, dude, I'm going to tell you straight up. I think what you should do is you should really probably just, go to another club and stalk another stripper. Because
that's horrible advice.
Wait, Tom, let me
take that violin and bash her right over the head with it.
That's all you get. Tom,
yeah.
Do you have an addict or alcoholic parent?
Pardon?
Do you have an addict or alcoholic parent?
No.
What was the situation in your family system?
Good.
No.
I had a good time when I was a kid.
No.
There's something sort of like schizoid about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, the chick got it right. I was kind of weak in high school, though.
Right.
Yeah, like computer?
How do you know that?
Just like a dork,
Yeah.
Right.
Like kind of like Adam might have been,
Oh, wait a minute. That was all Val on the football team.
I've heard you talk about yourself.
The stripper might have been a dork in high school, too.
I didn't get laid much, but that's just because I was committed to my masturbation. That's all. I could have. Just had no motivation.
What everybody is basically trying to say is that you're making her into a vice, and she's like something that you're addicted to now. And it's an addictive personality because you want it's a control thing. You want control over her, and you want to win her over so that you can get some kind of validation for your own life.
Wow. You do strip and play the violin?
Hell no. I'm a good girl.
All right, Drew.
Yeah.
Are we done here?
Yeah.
No. Hey there, it's Loveline. Phone number 1-800-LOVE-191. Fax number 310-854-4455. Everlast is here. You remember him from House of Pain? I want to say something. I did Politically Incorrect tonight. Drew's going to enjoy this. Everlast, you probably enjoy it too. And when I was in the green room getting ready to start the show, Ron Jeremy, porn star Ron, shows up. And he just sort of shows up a lot of places, and we're talking about pimps during the break, and it reminded me of Ron. And he's got two outstanding-looking young blondes with him, and then one big guy that looks kind of like the guy from the Hi Guy commercial. Remember that guy? What's that actor's name? I'm going to think of this guy. Chuck McCann. Hi Guy. He'd open the, oh, come on, Drew. Eric, you're not going to know. You're too young for this. But he'd open the door to the medicine cabinet for Right Guard commercial. Hi, Guy.
Yes.
It was in Far Out Space Nuts, too. I don't know what the hell else Chuck McCann did. But the point is this big guy, and he introduced him, and the guy was a fan. He listened to the show and all that stuff. And he owns two of the ranches in Nevada. And he told me, he said, you know what we're doing now? This is his new thing. We bring a big-name porn star in for a weekend, and she basically gets it on with like 1,000 guys. It's a porn star camp or something they're calling it. And basically, here's the genius behind this. Prostitution is legal in this part of Nevada. So if you can give Christy Canyon enough money, you get her over to your ranch for the weekend. Now you got guys flying in from Tokyo because these guys who do nothing but watch porn, well, here's your chance. You plop down, and I didn't ask him how much it was, but I'm guessing it's 3 or 4 times the amount of the normal prostitute. But these guys got money. You get to bang essentially a movie star in your mind, because if you're watching enough porn, that's what these women are. They're household names to you. And he says we got people flying in from all over the world. They do a whole weekend. They made like 70 grand on one weekend. And then he said, I was just thinking if you were there, Drew, how you would have just vomited. I was naturally all ears. Then he goes, you know, my latest discovery is, see this one over here? She's 34. Her daughter is 18. Now, she's been with me since she was 18. Basically, her daughter was just born into this, probably by some trucker yanked his Jimmy off, and is now stepping into the business. Her mother encouraged her to get into the business. So it's like a 34-year-old mom and an 18-year-old daughter. And I don't know if the daughter or whoever the one was there, but these women were spectacular. I mean, could have been rampway models, runway models, or whatever the hell they're walking on these days. Oh my God. Oh man,
that's not good.
No, I was thinking this guy. He was so impressed that he'd actually bred a hooker. You know what I mean? Right there on the ranch. It is a ranch at that point, I guess, when you're actually breeding, livestock, hoe stock. You know what I'm saying? Yes. He like raised her as a young. He probably kept her in like a little hooker incubator or something when she was young. And I was thinking, oh my God, everyone's going to hell. I mean,
most of us are. I mean, that's just statistically speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's got to be 2 hells then, because there's no way I'm going to the hell that this guy's going to. Yeah, it's not fair.
Adam's going to hell light.
I haven't got laid enough to go to that hell.
Oh, man, that's heavy.
Oh, that is heavy. But I thought, this is genius, this porn star weekend. I mean, these women have sex for money anyway,
got
right?
enough money to fly to Nevada to do this, and if he's got money like that, let me save him some trouble. Just come hang out in Hollywood for a week.
But the idea is you get to bang Candy Samples, or whoever the hell it is you've been into. Candy Samples in her 70s now. I got to believe she'd cut you some sort of senior citizens rate or something.
Can you imagine the mixing of infectious diseases in that one person? I mean, from all over the world, people are going to bring their infected material. And
yeah, there's probably like
and mix it
killer bees and Tetsi fruit flies and everything in there.
God.
All right.
Who'd want to come by and like 950 guys?
They must cut them some sort of deal, too.
I'm saying, I mean, just seriously.
But you're banging a porn star, so
on
you've
Sunday, I'd
seen
be
her.
a little weary, by Sunday.
Yeah, get there early Friday. Get in line early. Believe me. This is one to set your alarm for, fellas.
Not good.
Christina?
Hi.
You're 27. What's going on?
I just wanted to say it's a pleasure, Eric, to be talking to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Got my ticket.
Do I know you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. Well, actually,
only
you
people
meant
that know me call me Eric, so that's all
Oh,
good.
well, because that's your name.
Oh, I appreciate it.
No,
Scared me. I thought, somebody creeped through the lines. And
Well, we actually did meet at the Arsenio Hall show years ago.
Oh, word.
With House of Pain and everything. You guys were walking down the street. Anyways, question that I had was how, with everything that has recently gone on with you, how has your perspective on life changed?
See, I mean, I still go through, crazy, things. It's going to take a while for,
right.
really to absorb everything. But, I mean, the immediate things are, everybody can walk around and say, I could step off the curb, get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Right.
But, they can't touch that. It's not tangible to them, and it is to me. So I just, I just try to think like that, karma-wise. You know what I'm saying? I try to be a little cooler, a little calmer, a little kinder.
Everlast had a heart attack, for those who didn't listen to the beginning of the show, and basically had a heart valve replaced and all sorts of, they got out the rib spreader, and it was the whole thing.
It just always, I like to stress, too, that it was a congenital?
Well, you had an angioplasty first, though, and so that means you had coronary artery disease, which is not a congenital thing. That's from...
Well, I think that's
busting a little rapper balls.
I don't know. I mean, you may be right. I don't know.
Well, you had that also, because they wouldn't... The only thing you can stent is across narrowed valve, narrowed arteries. So they found they stented two areas, right?
Wait a minute.
No, just one.
He had a stent put in before they went back and found
What's
the
a
valve.
stent?
See, I was just told that
where they go and open up a clogged
with the balloon,
and then put a
How
wire.
Can his
I was
arteries
just told that
clog
it
that
collapsed,
quick?
though, from because what I was told, and maybe I'm wrong or maybe I misunderstood, was that my heart had just worked so hard for so many hours with blood just falling right back into it that it just collapsed.
Wow.
That the oxygen demands were so high that the areas that were narrowed now failed. That's right. Or there could have been a clot. There could have ruptured in a clot.
That would most likely have been from smoking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But see, it wouldn't have failed like that if there were already something going on there.
Right.
That's what I understand.
How old are you, Everlast?
29.
How can you don't need a bypass at 29, no matter how much jerky you eat and how much you smoke, do you?
I did. I had a bypass. They took
I know, but
my leg.
But you had other stuff going on. I think it was just one of those, like when the mechanic goes, as long as we're turning the rotors, you might as well repack the front bearings.
No, they don't do that.
That's the way I'd do it.
Yeah.
As long as we got the guy's chest open, let's go ahead and do something. You know what I mean? Let's do a little, let's do a little extra. Maybe you need a bypass when you're 65, but how often you got the rib spreader out? You know what I'm saying,
Put
Drew?
a spoiler kit on it.
Let's get that woodpecker, that thrush muffler sticker and put on the side. Let's really trick out the guy's heart. Maybe they did that.
No.
All right.
No, it did collapse.
All right.
Things did collapse.
All right. I don't know how much damage a guy who's not 30 yet can
I
do to his heart.
smoked lots of cigarettes and incredible amounts of weed for like 10 years.
That can do it.
Yeah.
Enough.
Smoking will kill you. That's the one thing I'd like to say on the air today, is that smoking will kill you. Will definitely kill you.
But you quit. Did you quit before this event?
No, I smoked up until the day I had a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good man. Ryan,
Yeah, how you doing?
you're 23.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, first thing I want to say is Everlast. Some of your biggest fans are here in Cincinnati, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Especially I get my boy Ryan Stigall, man. He's been following you since the Ice-T days.
Word up. All right, then.
He's tried to find everything of yours. But we've always been down with House of Pain and everything from the beginning. I mean, I know a lot of people just got on it when you guys were, doing Jump and stuff. But, I mean, even after that, when you guys did away with all MTV stuff and you guys kept everything real.
Oh, I got to bust my rhyme later on.
Yeah, I definitely have heard that you got rhyme skills out.
I got a House of Pain rap, don't I?
You do?
I forgot that was House of Pain. Yeah, the backhand like John McEnroe one? Oh, yes, that's House of Pain. Oh, you're going to love this. You're going to put me on your next album. All right, go ahead, Ryan.
But basically, what my deal is right now is my best friend for like a long time was a girl, still is. I was coming home the other night, and we've been out partying a little bit. Well, I get a page, and I go to try and find her, and I see her car wrapped around a telephone pole. So things got kind of hectic. Well, then I kind of realized, you know what I mean, maybe she was supposed to be who I was supposed to be with. So after everything You know what I'm saying? One of those divine intervention things you realize when you see this.
Well, was she in the car when it was?
I pulled up, and she was getting out of some guy picked her up. I mean, she had blood all over. I had to take her to the hospital and stuff. Well, nevertheless, you know, I kind of realized then, like, man, you know how you, like, click with one of your guy friends. You know, and I was like this with a beautiful girl. So, nevertheless, we hung out a couple weeks after that, and then we kissed, and everything was straight. But then she's just getting over this guy and stuff, and I don't want to ruin anything. So, I mean, you know, what do you do? How do you play this situation?
How long were you friends with her?
Man, I've known her since I was like 9.
And what's the deal with her present relationship?
She was with some guy, actually. He lives in New York now, and he was an abuser and stuff like that, you know, which I think is ridiculous. And, you know, if this was a show about me, I'd be calling out any man that wants to hit a woman because I'm not a small man. And
yeah, but you got to remember, she is into that guy, and she's chosen that relationship.
I mean, they're done now, but I mean, there's going to be mad baggage. There's going to be a lot to deal with.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you've been friends with her that long, I'll tell you, like, from personal experience, that one of my best relationships ever, I knew the girl for like 3 years before, or 2 years before we even got involved. And sometimes, I mean, that's really a great way to go about it. As far as the other stuff, that's just stuff you have to be patient with a person about, you know, and understand that they've been through some hectic stuff. And in some ways, you know, sometimes people choose to put themselves in those kind of situations for other reasons, you know.
That's another reason why I had to get through tonight, because Everlast, you know what I mean? I call you Eric if I know you, but I'm not going to try and cross that line.
That's all good. That's my name.
I think you did.
What I'm saying is, I mean, Adam, I don't know if you've heard his whole album. I mean, this guy's, you know, he's like a man's man. I mean, not only will he, you know, talk about love and stuff like that, but I mean, you know what I mean? If you mess with what's his as far as a girl, you know, he'll take care of it, but he's also got the light side. And I mean, that's tight. There's not too many men out there that are willing to say, you know, look, you know, I'll be down with love, but then, you know what I mean, if you mess with what's mine, you know, I'm also going to take you out.
All right, Ryan, I'm getting a boner. About to jump over the table.
Word, he's too close to him, man.
That's right.
Well, look, before you guys cut me off, man, Everlast, I want to say God bless to you, and you know what I mean, I hope everything goes great in your life from now on. I mean, not that you haven't had mad success, but you know what I mean, with the heart and everything.
And likewise with you, man. Just take it slow with your girl, man.
I appreciate that. And
that'll work out, man.
All right, Ryan.
Adam and Drew, you guys have been great.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks for calling.
What's cracking, y'all? This Dub C from the West Side Connect Gang. Y'all know this still West Side on mine, chilling on the love line. Y'all know what time it is. Dub C, the shadiest one. Panking that pistola, chilling with my homeboy Ace Rockola. Fool, I thought you knew. Chilling with my homeboy Dr. Drew, the shadiest one. Listen to this. Turn it up. That's Ria Nia.
The Dub C.
What's up, Nia?
I gave Dub C's CD to a friend of mine, and he went, he thought a CD player was broken. He thought I was playing it backwards. Hey, he goes, my friend goes, hey, the CD's real good, except for every once in a while my CD player would freak out and start playing it backwards. I said, no, that's how he talks, you idiot.
Oh, that's a good trick, though, to play on somebody.
Cypress Hill is here. Right. We're just talking about the Civil War and getting your leg cut off with no anesthetic.
Big balls for doing what they did.
Big balloons. Lining up and just having guys shooting cannons filled with rusty nails at
no
you.
strategy, let's just go at it.
And
no game plan.
No penicillin, no anesthetic, no nothing, no gloves, no hot water.
That was rough.
Hold this and tie this.
The mortality rate from abdominal wounds in the Civil War was 98% without surgery and 100% with surgery.
So it's just better off just hoping that God clots you or spits out whatever's in you.
Yeah.
Take me now
Take a
or forever
drink.
leave
Take
me
a couple
broke.
of drinks and have a good day.
Oh, Mike.
Good old moonshine.
All right, so Mike's 24. You were in Japan with the service, and you're about to go home, and you get this telegram saying that your mom killed herself.
Right. My sister had called. The Red Cross handles all that stuff.
No history of depression for your mom?
Yeah. Well, serious depression. But I mean, not the type of thing where, you know, you'd expect a phone call, someone telling you that your mom had killed herself.
Of course. When did this happen?
January 17th.
How you been doing?
Pretty lousy, actually. I'm still in the service, and I'm in the Marine Corps, and we kind of have an attitude, regardless, you know, of physical pain, that when it happens, you know, you suck it up, you keep going. You try not to let it bother you. You deal with your personal life on your off time, and that just hasn't been working. It's kind of hard to do damage assessment when you feel like you've got an atomic bomb that just blew up inside your head.
Have you ever been depressed yourself?
Me? No.
No. Anybody in your family otherwise get depressed?
No, my mom was pretty much about the only case.
Was she just unipolar depression, or was she manic depressive, bipolar?
Was it the doc had told me before that she was narcissistic?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
She was abused when she was a child or something?
No, well, in an odd kind of way. She was told things would work out really well for her if, kind of fairy tale type of things.